Luther King's birthday, and you are watching this conversation with the community. I'm your host, Mr. Executive Love Business, and as always, I'm going to laugh on. So, see, I was going through my storage bag, and guess what I found?
Okay.
You can stop
Did
the
you
music.
swallow your microphone?
What's in the car? Thank you.
Did you swallow your microphone?
No, I ain't swallowing my microphone. Why?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I hear you. You sounded like you swallowed your microphone. But hi,
See?
everybody.
What up, y'all? What up, man? I was going through my stuff, and guess what I came across? My old Marine Corps uniform.
Oh, okay.
Look at this joint, boy.
Same rank as my dad. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I'm more important than him. So
excuse you.
don't try to take my shine away and brag about the fact you grew up in a nuclear home, nigga.
Well,
That's probably why you ain't have to go to the military to get no discipline, nigga. I can't see, America. This is the reason why, even on Martin Luther King's birthday, I choose violence, because people like him can't let you have a piece of peace at all. I'm going through my history and I'm like, yo, look, I served my country. I didn't go to the brig. I didn't get thrown out like a lot of niggas. What does he say? Oh, yeah, well, my dad was better. Ain't nobody asked you about your dad. Can't you just do like all the rest of the good white folk out there and lie through your teeth and say, I appreciate your service?
I do on Veterans Day.
Don't, oh, wow. One day of the week. One day of the year. Fuck us. Forget us for the other 364.
Oh, and the Marine's birthday. Yes, I do that too.
So forget us for the other 363. This nigga couldn't even throw in Memorial Day or 4th of July.
You're not supposed to say it on Memorial Day. That's for those who died.
Would you please say that again? Because some of my family members still send me text messages on Memorial Day. Please say that again. What is Memorial Day for, Brian?
It is for those servicemen who have died.
Died, dead, deceased, not here no more. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. That's what it's for. Memory, memorial, remember. Which means that if you text somebody on Memorial Day and they actually respond, you got a hell of a lot more questions than when should I text you? Nah, man, I remember that joint, boy. I remember going to the Marine Corps, man. I remember going to the Marine Corps. I'm going to tell you right now, Black people do not know how to motivate you properly when you go to do something you've never done before. The day I get ready to leave to go to boot camp, I remember 2 visits from 2 people. The first one was my homeboy D. He runs a podcast called Mike's Unleashed with him and his boy Hawk. Y'all need to check that joint out. We graduated. He came by my house Sunday and he said, hey, Doug, we've been through a lot, bro. And I know you're getting ready to embark on the Marine Corps, and I want you to remember these 3 things. Number 1, you smart enough to make it through. Number 2, you tough enough to make it through. And number 3, if your smartness and your toughness don't get you through, nigga, just don't die. Just don't die. That's exactly what the nigga said to me verbatim. Just don't die. So if I'm not smart enough or strong enough, just don't die. Usually the weak, stupid people die first.
Usually, yeah.
Any scary movie ever made, it was the weak and stupid ones who died first.
Yep. Or black.
Or black. So I struck out. I struck out according to him. Then as I'm getting ready to leave, because anybody who knows the Marine Corps know they come and pick you up very, very early in the morning, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So they were coming to pick me up. And I go to my mom's room and I say, hey, mom, they're here to get me. My mother looks at me and she goes like this. I'm expecting her to cry. I'm expecting her to get emotional. Hell, I'm even expecting her to pray with me. You know what my mom look at me and say? She roll over and say, baby, you know what to do. Now go and do it. I said, no, I don't, because I've never been to boot camp before, Dolores. Maybe, just maybe, you should do like most parents and cry and pray over me real quick. All right. So I don't go down here and become stupid, weak, and die like my homeboy D said a couple of hours earlier. I was so done. I said, black people, the one white person in my corner said, Doug, go and be a beacon of light for the people down there. I don't even know how to be a beacon of light, but I tell you this much, I took some batteries and a flashlight with my ass just because Megan told me to be a beacon of light. Unlike my mama and my homeboy D, who told me to go and do something I've never done before because I know how to do it, and don't be stupid and weak and die.
Hey, it's all. Hey, you're a Marine now, so hey.
That's all that matters now. Forget the emotional turmoil. I was serious. As soon as I came back, my mom was like, I knew you knew what to do. No, I didn't. I figured out on the way, but I didn't know when I got there. Oh, man. I'll tell you this much. I had a great weekend. I had an outstanding weekend. And you want to know why?
Sure. What happened?
There are a lot of things in life that you can count on. There are a lot of things in life you can count on. You can count on the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. You can count on Umar Johnson talking about the snow bunny crisis. And last but not least, you can count on the Dallas Cowboys to let you down. The Dallas Cowboys got the brakes beat off of them yesterday, 48-32. And the game wasn't even as close as the score indicated. With 6 minutes left in the game, they were down 48-16. They literally and truly started. The only reason why Dallas scored is because Green Bay was actually pulling fans from the seats to actually go out and get a couple of snaps on the field.
True.
That's the only reason why. Did you see the game, B?
Yeah. I pretty much by the fourth quarter I was done and ended up watching a movie because it was bad. It was so bad.
It was terrible, bro. I mean, at one point in time, wasn't Green Bay up like 27-0?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, figuring like the miss extra point was like, figured like for Dallas fans was like, yeah, I did. They thought they would be, hey, we had a chance, and then next thing you know, boom, they scored another touchdown.
It was that missed field goal was the equivalent of a dude not cutting his nails before he fingered a chick. He still got it. He still got the poontang. That was the only thing he did wrong, was going up in that joint not manicured. That's it. Green Bay went down to AT&T Stadium and put them niggas on Verizon. That's exactly what they did. Green Bay with Jordan Love went down there and put them niggas on Verizon. Probably Sprint. Went to AT&T and disconnected their service. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be real with you, dog. I don't know what's more annoying. What would have been more annoying? Because you do realize that Cowboy fans are already predicting that they're going to the Super Bowl next year, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like Cowboy fans have got to be the most nauseating people in the world. Because they're the only people who listen, I'm a Redskin fan. I refuse to say Commander. I'm a Redskin fan. All right? We love our squad. But even we know that we are a coach, a player, a GM, and a burning bush away from the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl. Dallas, no matter what happens to them the year before, I have never seen a team with more faith and optimism. Every Cowboy fan should be a motivational speaker. They should. Move over Les Miles. Move out the way, Tony Robbins. Just go and get the casual Cowboy fan, and they'll be able to make anybody believe anything. They could probably make me believe LeBron is actually the GOAT. Like that's how much they believe in what it is they say. And Jerry Jones talking about, I ain't getting no younger. None of us are, Jerry. Like you say that like it's a revelation. Like you had a bet with God. I'll give you another 5 years on your life if you win a Super Bowl. If that was the case, nigga, you'd have been up out of here back in 2001. Come on, man. But your boys play tonight. The Ravens play tonight, don't they?
We are.
No, y'all got to bye.
No, we have a bye week. We're playing this coming weekend. Likelihood it may be this Saturday.
Y'all want to? Let me ask you this question. You want to play? Because I think y'all would. No. If Buffalo wins, y'all will play the Texans. Y'all want to play the Texans?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's the typical first dark skin matchup.
We will play anybody.
CJ versus Lamar.
We'll play anybody.
In the history of the NFL, how many dark skinned quarterbacks have beaten light skinned quarterbacks? Patrick Mahomes has beat every dark skinned brother he's ever played. Well, y'all would have a chance if you played Dak.
Everybody has a chance they play Dak.
Light skin rules don't apply to Dak Prescott. It don't. It don't. Oh,
hip movement.
I really don't care who make it to the Super Bowl as long as it's not a Cowboy fan. As long as it's not them. I don't care. I don't care. People are like, Doug, you a hater. I'm not a hater. I just don't like it when people do better than me. So it is what it is.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about it, and this picture alone proves it.
That is all right. Wait, does the little boy have a Cowboy jersey and he's laying in the lap of his Packers parents?
I think so.
This is what happens, parents, when you do not steer your children the right way and you let them make decisions on their own because their feelings matter too. That's what happens. That's what happens. Because their feelings matter and they should have a choice and they've got rights. Now look at that child. Now look at that child. In the words of Cat Williams, you have an unnatural allegiance to losers. It's not like you. It's not like you. Oh, man. I'm going to tell you right now. Usually people have sent me videos for my This Nigga Here segment, and I pick them. But this week, in light of the rounds and the responses, or the reactions, rather, that are coming off the Cat Williams video, I have picked my own This Nigga Here segment. And it comes in 3 parts. Remember, 3 parts, all right? Like Godfather 1, 2, and 3, Rocky 1, 2, and 3, Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3. Usually the first 2 are all you need, and the third one is overkill. But in this case, I think all 3 of these parts lend to a classic This Nigga Here segment. Roll part 1, please.
I mean, Kevin is a dinosaur, and I can't, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. He's Frankie Lyman, and ooh ah, why do birds sing so gay? That.
All right.
Okay.
Now, for those who do not know who that is, that is Orlando Brown of That's So Raven fame. He also played 3J on Family Matters. The fact that I don't know where to, you know what? Did that nigga really and truly call Kevin Hart a dinosaur?
Yeah, he did. He did.
This may be low-hanging fruit, but I don't know a dinosaur that's 5'4".
Hmm. Well, besides a raptor, maybe a baby raptor.
I've seen all the Jurassic Parks. Not one raptor on that bitch is 5'4". And then proceeded to tell you that he went from being a what part of the paleontology era to one of the biggest teen heartthrobs of the early 60s, and proceeded to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how after he finished singing that unnecessary tune, he sat back like a mother in church and run? And did you see that? Play that one part again. Go back and play that one part again. Where he went Lyman and he leaned back like a mother in church who was getting ready to say a testimony.
Hold on a second, because I was prepared for other things. But
I'm telling you, y'all, this nigga here segment is going to be well worth the 3 parts that it is. Because I don't know what the hell they do to them stars at Disney, but it seemed like only very few of them actually get out with all they sense.
Okay.
Because let's see, all Disney stars. Britney Spears went crazy.
Well, there's reasons.
Britney Spears went crazy. Raven Simone still crazy. And this nigga Orlando Brown is one flew over a cuckoo's nest.
Okay, here we go again.
Here we go. And pay attention to the hand placement.
Kevin is a dinosaur, and I can't, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. He's Frankie Lyman, and ooh ah, why do birds sing so gay? That.
Did you see how graceful he moved back? Why do birds sing?
Oh, jeez.
Like a mother in church, like a missionary who said that the fish sale wasn't gonna make as much money as we thought it was going to.
True.
Let's go to part 2 of this nigga here.
All right, stand by. There's a lot. There we go. And this is where he brings in Cat.
This is where he mentions Cat. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart has a team of people that write his jokes. Kevin Hart writes some jokes, yes, but that's not the real Kevin I come here telling you all the time who's the realist and who's not. Kevin, I told you when I first came here, bro. Kevin Hart is not that tall. Kevin Hart is not that tall. 50 Tyson is the real Kevin Hart.
Stop.
Is the real
Stop.
All that Kevin got right now.
Okay.
You were saying?
Let's start this from the beginning. Did you hear him actually say? Did you hear the way he said Kevin Hart ain't that tall, as if he was giving us some sort of burning bush revelation?
Yeah.
As if Kevin Hart been faking like he's been an NBA superstar for the 20 years that he's been in the limelight. I've been trying to tell you, bruh, Kevin Hart ain't that tall. Nigga, Michael Blackson is really from Africa. And on top of that, Disney don't like Jewish people. It's like, bro, really? I'm trying to tell you, Thanos had all 6 of the Infinity Stones when he snapped his fingers. Bro. And then said, I'm here to tell you the real from the fake. Kevin Hart is 50 Tyson. 50 Tyson. Now, help me understand this. I've heard of, have you ever seen the movie Dodgeball?
Yeah, several times.
Remember when he sat up there and introduced his team? Meet Laser. Blade.
Yeah.
Blazer. Orlando Jones just sat up there and said, meet 50. Meet Mike Tyson. Meet 50 Tyson. It's like, nigga, what are you talking about? I swear to you, bro, I'm a firm believer that we need to go back to intelligence shaming. You know, intelligence shaming, where you used to look at somebody and be like, man, you stupid as hell. This is not that case. I pray to God that whoever continues thinking he's smart enough to do interviews continues to put a microphone and camera in front of this nigga, because he is hilarious. He has come a long way from being the orphan 3J in Family Matters. Part 3, please.
Stand by. Let's review this one.
This nigga's amazing, bro. Kevin Hart has gone from being a dinosaur to Frankie Lyman to 6'12", but really 5'4".
Yeah. Well, here comes Will and Jada now.
Comes down to Jada's head. And what the does Will Smith grab when he lays down in bed? I'm just saying some real, man. You know, are you gripping when she's gobble, squabble, swabble, giving the bop, shoot-a-dap, bop, do ya, bop, bop, I do, yeah.
Why does he always have to sing that particular ditty? That ditty to him is like people in New Orleans that be like, you heard me? They use that always as a segment to go into something else. Hey, man, they ain't have no more milk at Aldi's. You heard me? But they did have soy milk. Like, they use that as a bridge into something else. Like, why does he keep going back to that particular ditty? Remember when he was talking about Raven? Yeah, Raven got a problem because I gave her that bop, 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 boo, wop. Like, what are you talking about? I wish that nigga was in the principal's office. Orlando, what were you thinking when you sat there and threw that milk across the lunchroom? I was thinking, bop, 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 bop. You were like, what? Send this nigga to the counselor. Talk about what does Will grab on to Jada. Hey, hair length ain't never stopped a nigga from smashing.
That's true.
Hair length. Let me tell you something. Hair texture ain't never stopped a man from smashing. No, I'll go even further. Hair placement has never stopped a nigga from smashing. Okay? Hair length, hair texture, and hair placement ain't never stopped a nigga from smashing. Okay? Like, what is he talking? Listen, whoever keeps giving this man a platform, do not stop on my account. We need Orlando. We need he's more entertaining than Orlando, Florida. Like, literally, bro. He's more entertaining than going down to Universal Studios in Orlando and riding Space Mountain. Like, he continues to use that same ditty. All the music that has come out, he continues to channel his inner Hanson. This nigga here, bro. This nigga here. Martin Luther King Jr. did not sacrifice his life for this nigga to keep going from platform to platform, finding a way to bring that bop in everything. Hanson probably be like, you know what? Let him keep singing it. We keep getting paid for royalties. Come on, man. That's like Michael Jackson getting, that's like the estate of Michael Jackson getting paid every time you ask a bitch, Annie, are you okay?
True.
Yo, you better get your cousin.
He's not my cousin.
You better get your cousin, your play cousin or whatever.
You know.
Man, tell you, this cat thing, boy, I've never seen something linger this long. Do you know responses are still coming in? Responses and reactions are still coming in.
Because people got nothing better to do. All honestly, I just don't get it. I to this day, I still don't get it, and I don't care. There's nothing whatever Cat Williams has said a few weeks ago has made any changes to what is going to go on in the comedian industry. It just, because be honest with you, like I said last time, you're spewing out things that a lot of people already know. Unless you're informing the newer people who are coming in, then yeah, all right, I get it. So are you changing anything?
So you believe truth shouldn't be spewed unless there's a call to action behind it?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, you're just, what is the end game out of this? What is it? To get Orlando Brown and another, be on some random podcast to bop all the time? I mean, I don't understand.
I could live with that personally. I could live with that.
You could.
You gotta make sacrifices for the greater good. And there is no greater good than that nigga channeling his inner Hanson.
Then give him your Marine uniform and let him.
No. You got to get shot, bop, shot. But speaking of that, so speaking of speaking truth to power, unless there's a call to action. I don't know if y'all seen it yet, but Roland Martin, who has had a very prominent role in just educating the Black community, he's been on TV One. He's, Roland Martin is probably one of the foremost authorities on anything historic. Google don't even spit out information about the past the way this brother do. He got chapter and verse. So Roland Martin went on his show, Roland Martin Unfiltered, and spoke about the origins of Fox News. Do we have that? It's a long clip, so we're going to skip through it, kind of. Pull it up for me, B.
I don't have that. Sorry.
Okay. No. Well, pretty much what Roland Martin was doing was talking about dating all the way back to the origins of Fox News and how they even came up with a Super Bowl halftime show. Because as a fan of In Living Color, when it came out in 1990, if you remember, the Super Bowl never really had a big halftime show. Like, who was singing the national anthem was probably the biggest non-football news about it. You know what I'm saying? And then and Roland Martin pointed out the fact that once they started making a big deal about it, because In Living Color came up with a halftime Super Bowl show of their own, and it actually took eyes away from the Super Bowl. Remember that, Bree?
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah, I remember watching that episode. Yeah. I ain't gonna tell y'all my age because that ain't none of your business. But I remember watching that episode over 30 some years ago. And it made the NFL start building up their halftime show. Now, if you look at where it is now, trust me, it wasn't like this always, where they sit up here and announce who is doing the Super Bowl halftime show 6 months in advance. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like that. It wasn't. They used to play damn near, what was it, elevator music?
Well, let's see. I mean, through the years, they've had marching bands. They've had some weird,
and not even marching bands. It wasn't like they had marching bands.
They had marching bands, but not like notable ones. But they had carnival acts.
They have none of them. Yeah. They had the marching band from Ohio State.
Yeah,
and the most interesting part was which white person they picked to dot the I on the shit.
Right. So it was pretty bad and then when a lot of people, once they Living Color showed up, a lot of people tuned into that. And I do agree. And I remember when the NFL took notice, they had to. I mean, it was a scramble. It was a scramble, and really the biggest act that helped them to be pretty much, it was the patriarch of the modern day halftime show. Huh?
It was the Michael Jackson one, wasn't it?
It was the Michael Jackson one.
Yeah, when that nigga stood there for like 15 minutes and we thought he had a stroke.
Right, yeah.
We thought he had a stroke. That nigga stood there for 15 minutes.
And they give him a lot of time for it, too. It's like normally they would, they would just rush it in, but no, NFL knew that it's like, look, it's Michael Jackson. Let him take all the time he wants.
He literally stood there for like 15 minutes while people were crying and fainting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I wish that had worked with my mama, where she stood there for 15 minutes while I cried and fainted.
Mm-hmm.
She did. And as soon as I came to, she still whooped my butt. Like she still beat me. She just stood there like Michael Jackson. But what Roland Martin was talking about was how all of a sudden, all of these platforms from Fox were built on the backs of Black content creators and Black influencers. And now they're looking at the exponential rise of Tubi and how it got literally 78 million subscribers to Tubi. And Lord have mercy, those movies are outrageous. Tubi is like watching Dolomite every day. It really is like, it is like the epitome of Black exploitation. It makes The Last Dragon look like they actually had Bruce Lee in it. That's how bad the Tubi movies are. Tubi is so bad, it made Willie Dynamite look like a documentary. When that nigga said, Willie, you got to have vision. Like, vision. Then you got to have vision. That's how bad Tubi is, bro. Tubi is so bad. Any Black exploitation movie you can think of, from Blackula to Willie Dynamite to anything with Rudy Ray Moore in it, God rest his soul, it made it look like that shit came from Lionsgate or Paramount. Not like it was filmed in your grandma's basement. And what Roland is saying is that, I guess what Roland is saying, and that's why I wanted to make that segue to what you're talking about when you talk about speaking truth to power. I guess Roland is talking about the power of Black people and Black content creators and how we build stuff. But are you saying that that type of truth shouldn't be spoken if there isn't a call to action afterwards?
All right. It's an interesting segue. Let's put it that way. Yes. Somewhere there is some vision in this conversation right now.
I only watch Willie Dynamite for that part. Come on, Willie, that's cool, but you got to have vision.
So anyway, case in point, I think when it comes to, I mean, when you're making movies and film or music and TV shows, I mean, mind you, it's you're just exploring your creativity, you know, and that's why I think Tubi has been known to be the nice hub for a lot of, you know, people who are just trying to make it in the entertainment industry. But when it comes to
they got some reputable actors and don't act like these are people trying to break into Hollywood. No, these people have been in there for a minute.
True. They're people who, you know, just want to, you know, keep their chops, you know, sharp and all that stuff. I get it.
Get scripts from their cousin. Hey, man, I was in county lockup working on this script. Take this to Tubi.
But when you bring in somebody like Orlando Brown, you know, Cat Williams or whoever, to where they complain about something and it's on a random podcast. Keep in mind, it's random. Everyone will say, you know, Shannon Sharp's podcast is the biggest thing since sliced bread. It's like, whatever. To me, it's just random.
You're always downplaying somebody.
Yes, I'm not. Yeah, I'm downplaying it because homeboy just don't get it to me anymore. But anyway, I just feel like, okay, you bring this person on, they're spewing about God knows what, and everybody in the social media world is eating it up. And it's like, okay, in the end, for me, there could be other people like me, stating the fact is like, what is your end game with this statement here? What are you trying to prove? And especially with stuff that a lot of people have already know about. Now, if you're giving specific, you know, instances, say that 10 times fast, you get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know about that, but still, if this, you know, happened to these people, you know for sure it happened to other people years before that. So again, it's like, it's not being stopped. You're just putting it out there. Great. A lot of people are talking about it. Great. But in the end, what is this information for? Because the whole point of this quote unquote information age is to use this information to help build something better down the line. And to me, all it is spewing out a whole bunch of bullshit to where no one wants to use this for, except to talk about it constantly, and nothing's being done about it.
I can understand your sentiment, but this will be my pushback. We'll go biblical for a minute. The Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. Okay. So if there is some knowledge out there that seems to be eluding people, or people seem to be blinding themselves to, don't you feel that there is a necessary evil or a necessity for you to shine a light on perceived evil? Now, I'm not talking about what Cat is talking. I'm just talking about truth in general. That's number one. And number two, I understand your thing about the call to action, but it reminds me of what Tupac said years ago. He said, I may not change the world, but I may spark the brain or spark the mind of the person who will change the world. So what if this is nothing more than, because life is nothing more than a big ass relay race. You run your leg and then you hand the baton off to somebody else. The baton could be an idea. The baton could be actual work. Baton could be finances, capital, whatever. But it's a relay race. You know what I'm saying? It's like Denzel Washington said, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse because you can't take none of that shit with you. Side note, I wish Denzel was my daddy.
Okay.
Because Denzel always said
back to the main road. Back to the main road.
All right,
back to the main road.
Dude, Denzel always say the right shit.
No.
He really do.
Okay.
He'll never give a wrong answer. I think if you drink too much water, you'll drown. God damn it, Denzel, you right.
Okay.
All right, back to it though.
Yes.
But I got to do my DNA test. I think somewhere in me is a Washington.
Oh,
Probably George.
Okay.
But probably George with my ancestry history. But all I'm saying is, what if these people are saying this to spark the brain of somebody who is trying to initiate change, or who can, or who's in a better position to initiate change?
All right. If they were, and mind you, today is a perfect time to talk about this because it's Martin Luther King's actual birthday.
Remember, the King.
Yeah, that you can say that.
Coming to America, Martin Luther the King.
Okay. Even though he ended up talking, in addition to Malcolm and a lot of other notable civil rights activists, they talked, but they did take action. They did take the initiative to say, hey, we've been complaining about this for so long, and you guys are not doing anything about it. They try to rely on other people. So they decided, you know what? F this. Let's really push this initiative. Let's really push what we're saying. And they did. We had the bus boycott in Montgomery. We've had them walking across the bridge in Selma. They did a lot of stuff. During that 60s civil rights era moments. They did a lot. To say, hey, we ain't talking, just talking. We need to take action.
So you believe our leaders today? I use that term so loosely.
Yes.
But people who put themselves in leadership positions today are just bloviating. They're just talking.
Yes. I mean, even the biggest blowhard.
Roland's case.
Say again.
Even in Roland Martin's case.
I think before Roland Martin, I mean, mind you, he's a journalist first.
Yeah.
He's not a full-fledged activist, but he does support that cause. And he's just informing the public of what needs to be done, which I think is good. And he's informing the right people. But unfortunately, maybe in this day and age, we don't know who the right people are because there's so many out there claiming they are the right people, and they want to take.
Orlando tell it.
Say again.
They're dinosaurs. We need to find some. We need to find some brachiosauruses and some brontosauruses to help us, like in the what was it with Littlefoot? Littlefoot and the three horns. That's what we need. But we don't need any more shark tooths. We don't need any more shark tooths.
Well, seriously though,
we don't need any more shark tooths. We need
true.
We need three necks and three horns and long necks.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I just feel like when you have someone being a blowhard, I mean, the perfect example is the orange peel. He's a blowhard. He'd rather have other people. He's not a leader. He just says what he wants to say, and even though everybody else takes action on it, but really it's like you're not doing what needs to be done. You're just saying a whole bunch of stuff that makes no sense. And that's what, to me, with things when people say, like what Cat did, it's like, okay, it makes sense to you. It probably make sense to a lot of other people, but really doesn't make sense to the whole world, to the point where we need to take action on certain things. And you don't, unless if you are so passionate about what you're saying here and you don't take the full initiative of trying to make change on it, then what was the whole point of you saying what you said?
Okay.
Just to out people?
Speaking of that, that springboards us into another Black activist, Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay, Umar. I knew you was going. You're a trolling mofo. You're
a troll.
A bald-headed, four-eyed troll. I saw them air quotes. If that nigga's a doctor, he's a doctor. Okay. We've been calling Dr. Dre a doctor, and I ain't never seen that nigga with a stethoscope or write a prescription.
That's you.
How about Dr. J? I ain't never seen him with a lab coat on.
No, you never saw his his photo shoot, back in the 70s? Shoot with the afro.
Like I said, if he want to
blue ball.
If Umar want to be a doctor, then nigga, so be it. Dr. Dre, Dr. J, and Dr. Umar. But talking about people who kind of speak and maybe their actions don't correlate with what it is they speak. Do we have that clip?
Here we go.
I want interracial marriage to be illegal in the United States.
Marriage to be illegal in the United States. I want interracial marriage between Black and anything else. It can stay legal for everybody else. But for Black people, we are too psychologically damaged. For African people, we are too psychologically damaged. And I am starting a petition to reverse the Supreme Court decision of June 1967. I want it reversed. We must make interracial dating between Black men and Black women and all other races illegal. We must do this to save the Black family. We have nothing against the white woman. I respect you.
I got a quick response. Quick response.
You go first, because mine gonna take us to the end of the show. Go ahead.
Here's my quick response.
It's frustrating when that.
Yes, it does. I'm tired of this. Tired of this bullshit. It's been 7 years of the same. Tired of this.
Yeah, because this is
yes.
This is Umar Johnson. This is how he is. He comes in. I mean, like you said, he comes in spewing out a whole bunch of bullshit, and it's like, okay, you want to sign a petition? Fine. On something that's like, dude, really? I mean, it's like, what do you have a problem? If you don't want to date a white woman, fine. If you don't want to date an Asian woman, fine. That is your prerogative. Okay? That is also if you think about it, the woman herself will probably say, oh, I don't want to date you. I mean, you ever thought of that? So it's like, to me, it's like stupid shit like this that comes out of people who claim they're intelligent, claim they have a doctorate in something, and trying to, I don't know, for whatever reason, start a movement that is totally beyond whatever you want. And you want to backtracking to back into the 50s for what? This is another problem. What I have, I'm sick and tired of those who are
response, y'all. He is giving a sermon.
Yes, I have it. It's like, is this thing on? Is this thing on? Anyway,
the churches are now open.
Yes. So the point is like you, for years, there's always that one person who wants to take us back. Like I said, back to the orange peel, and now him. And it's like you're taking us back to an era that not everybody was feeling. So it's like and for what? You claimed it's like for Umar Johnson's like, oh, because we need to save the black family. And it's like the black family has the same issues as any white families. The guy will cheat, he'll leave, he'll do this, that, and everything else. It's the same thing. So I don't know what the hell is up with you and claiming with no facts on why the black family is breaking up based off of the fact that they're interracial dating. It's stupid. But I'll let you finish the floor.
Well, you know what Brian reminds me of? Brian reminds me of the person that's supposed to go up there and tell their testimony, but it turns into a 15 to 20 minute sermon. And now your ass got to go up behind them and say something. That's what Brian just did. Okay. But I will tell you this. He's talking about signing a petition. Nigga, can we see the lease that you signed for the building, for the school that you've been talking about building for the past decade plus? Because to me, what this is starting to look like to me with Umar, haven't you ever noticed that whenever we start to pinpoint something about the powers that be or the government, they always find a way to divert our attention to something else? Haven't you ever noticed that? Even when it came to the Epstein list and people being revealed who was on there, who went to Epstein Island, all of a sudden, Cat Williams' interview got round the clock coverage. And Cat wasn't saying nothing different that he hasn't already said before. So what I'm starting to realize with him is, and these are my questions, and I'm not saying it in a trolling manner, but if he takes it as a troll, I don't care. You spend a lot of time focusing on stuff that has nothing to do with what you initially came onto the scene about doing, which is opening up a school for young boys so you can teach them the stuff that they need to know. Because every time I turn around, I'll put it to you like this. I've said this once and I'll say it again. I do believe that the black community, your preference as a black man and a black woman, your preference should be together. However, your priority should be to be with somebody who pours into you what it is you need. And if that looks like somebody of a different race and you're willing to deal with all that comes along with it, him nor nobody else should be the one to sit up here and make you feel like you are less than. Because I think my biggest problem with Umar is the fact that who died and crowned you king nigga? Who died and crowned you king nigga? Because anybody who speaks the way he speaks, you almost think like he got some sort of divine calling on him to call out everybody. And he's talking about the black family under attack. Homie, you got to explain something to me as a father of 2 children from 2 different women. Does that go for you too? Because the one thing I'm getting tired of in the black community is us sitting up here with these self-ordained leaders that we're not questioning the way we need to.
Well, speaking of that, let's put it this way. If you think about back in the 60s, Martin Luther King, or the King, the King, he, even though he really didn't want to fully be in the forefront, but he ended up having to. These folks, really
held to the forefront. He never claimed himself.
No, he never did. So, and I think for nowadays in this, like I said, information age and social media, everyone's getting this social media limelight attention. Umar, for whatever reason, he keeps being on the Breakfast Club. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't understand it. And pretty much these guys, I mean, if you ask either one of them, they'll literally say, I would love to ask, them to ask, like, do you really believe his bullshit?
No, you want to know one thing I know, and I always harken back to this. I think this was the most perfect name of a comedy special I ever heard. And that was Chris Rock's Selective Outrage. Mm-hmm. Because one thing I know about Umar listening to him is that he's got smoke for any and every black man out there who ain't paying him no attention.
Right.
He criticized Deion Sanders. He's criticized Shannon Sharp. Mm-hmm. He's criticized Stephen A. Smith and Roland Martin and a bevy of other black men, right? But for whatever reason, he swears up and down that he's all about the black family, but he has never said nothing disparaging about Nick Cannon having 12 babies in a 12-month time frame.
Right.
You don't think that is detrimental to the black family?
Right.
How about the fact of the matter, he ain't never said nothing about Charlemagne when Joe Biden, who literally is the R.L. Stein of the 94 crime bill, when he got on there in the Breakfast Club and literally said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. I've never heard Umar Johnson say one thing. He never even questioned Charlemagne about that. Showed up on his show, everything, never brought it up. So it almost seems like this brother has selective outrage for only a few.
Right, he does, and that's where I feel like for him to be the quote unquote appointed leader of the black whatever makes no sense to me.
Who crowned this dude king nigga where you can actually sit up here and question the blackness of other people when you nor nobody else had the authority to give them the blackness? You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Because in this day and age of social media attention,
Stephen A. Smith should. That was a while back where he was like, Stephen A. Smith should get 5,000 lashes. Nigga, who got that type of strength? Slave owners had that type of strength. They didn't even have that much hate in their body. Them niggas went to sleep after, like, oh my God. Watching Snap the other day, and I was mesmerized at the fact that they said this woman stabbed this dude 32 times with a pencil. Bitch, how angry were you?
Hey, she snapped.
And he's sitting up here talking about this person should get 5,000 lashes. For what? Because they disagree with you? Because they have a contrary point of view?
So then again, it is Stephen A. So his point of view is kind of
says Shaquille can get 20. Who is getting big ass Shaquille O'Neal to get 20,000 lashes? If you can get Shaquille O'Neal and give him 20,000 lashes, nigga, you could have got him to hit 20 more free throws. I'm just saying, man, when I sit up here and listen to rhetoric like that, man, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me because I know black people who are married to other black people whose families are in shambles.
Yeah.
I mean, let's kick the ballistics here. Let's be for real. I know black people who are married to other black people who's in the shea butter, cocoa butter, I can't believe it's not butter. They in all of that African shit, and they still ain't shit when it come to their kids, how they rear them, how they raise them, and their families. I mean, you can go around their house. They got crystals. They got incense. They got pictures of Bob and Ziggy Marley. They got everything black you need to make your house underappreciated on the market. But at the end of the day, they don't raise productive children in society. So I don't know why we're so big on this. I don't know, man. With him, it almost seems like he's playing an angle to keep himself relevant. Because I don't see how he can be on all of these podcasts and nobody asks him the real questions that they need to ask because they just let him go on and on and on, throwing big words, raising his voice, yelling, talking over you, cutting you off. They never ask the pointed questions they need to ask.
Because the main, like I was about to say, was in this social media world, majority of the people who have these podcasts are not journalists. They don't ask the hard questions. They just want to have something to, they ask pretty much our softball questions to where these guys will let them rant and rave about God knows what, to the point where it's, again, they hope that they'll get some, some good sound bite and go viral.
Pearl ain't a journalist, but she ain't got no problem asking my black ass hard questions. Nigga, where were you last night? Nigga, how come you ain't pick my phone up? She ain't got no journalistic credentials. She ain't worked for CNN, MSNBC. She ain't worked for none of that shit, but she ain't got no problem asking me hard questions. So I ain't trying to hear that shit. It's the fact of the matter that these people want to sit up here and boost their ratings. It ain't about facts no more. It's about feelings. That's what it's about.
True. But
ain't about facts no more, man. And it's just crazy to me that we sit up here in the black community and we willfully and willingly let people pull the wool over our eyes. And then as soon as it starts to come to light that they don't say, now we want to act so appalled and whatnot. And I'm not saying that in the case of Umar, like he's not who he says he is, because I do believe that man is about the liberation of black people. But I believe he's about it being done his way. And that's my issue. He feels like it needs to be done his way and his way alone. And if it's not done his way, then all of a sudden you ain't black. Just saying, man. We need to really start taking a look at these people that we put in the forefront and stop sitting up here acting all flabbergasted when they turn out not to be who it is they say they are, because we didn't do the proper vetting process. Hey, look, once again, happy Martin Luther the King Day to all my people out there. Today we honor a man who stood for justice, stood for equality, and stood for content of character more so than the color of skin. So shout out to him. Shout out to the Queen Mother, Coretta Scott King. May they both rest in peace. And Jonathan Majors, please stop using Coretta with these women. Please, please, please. I'm begging you, brother, please. But this is my whole thing from now on, because we get ready to go. Use the woman of the race of the woman that you date. So if you dating a white woman, say, hey, you need to be more like Audrey Hepburn or Elizabeth Taylor. If you dating a Spanish woman, say, ooh, you need to be more like Christina Aguilera or J-Lo or some shit like that. But don't sit up here just using Coretta Scott King or Betty Shabazz with anybody who don't even know who they are. Because some black women don't even know who they are or what they about. Talking about Megan Good is like Coretta. In what world? Coretta stayed with Martin Luther no matter what the rumors she heard about him. Devon Franklin was a good dude and she still damn left. Just saying. I had to throw that last one in there. Hey, well, my man Be Easy. I'm your host, Mr. Perspective Doug. We'll be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, bringing comedy to the conversation. We are Conversations with Comedians. We love y'all and we out. Peace.